Hello YouTubers, it's Road Dog Does Politics here, back with another YouTube video. I know I've not made a video in a little bit of a while, so yeah, here's one. I want to draw your attention a little bit today to a topic that I haven't really spoken too much about on my channel. I want to talk about Brexit, just because as I said, I've not really spoken too much about it in a lot of detail, and you know, in the news, Brexit is not going as well as we would like. It's just turned into a bit of a shit show of people U-turning and not really saying what they mean, as is usual, and you know, the Tories messing things up and, you know, saying one thing and doing another, that sort of thing. But yeah, I recently read an article on LBC, an interview by Richard Dawkins, who's like a biographer and writer and sort of political observer, and he talked about Brexit being just a huge sort of big decision that he doesn't think that should have been given to the British public, which I to an extent agree with, just because, as we now know, it has just turned into this monumental, like, clusterfuck of a thing that is happening that we still don't really know too much about, and it's still being negotiated. We don't know what we want. Like, there's just two different sides just scrapping it out. So I just wanted to sort of reference a few things that he said in this interview that I was quite surprised by, and you know, in a way I sort of agree with him in that I don't think that we should have been given this decision to make this humongous vote. And I know, like, it was over a year ago now, and you know, it was last June, and we're sort of pretty much over the decision that we are going to leave the EU. And I'm sort of resigned to the fact, even though our vote would remain. But this guy, he makes a few points and statistics about that decision being made by the public. And he says, I was quite shocked to hear this, because I didn't know this before. Whether or not it's true is another story, but so this guy, he says, it should have been done, referring to the referendum, it should have been done by people with sober reasoning, by people who had really looked into the evidence both ways, which sounds fair. He also says there was a great opportunity for emotion in the referendum, which clouded the judgment of voters, which is true, which we've got in the, you know, the big bus with the 350 million on it, and like the Leave campaign, which was largely, you know, very bitter and emotional and, you know, quite sort of racist and xenophobic in a lot of ways, and just the rhetoric of it was just not nice at all. And then he goes on to make a statistic about like literacy levels in this country, which I was quite surprised by. He goes, there is some evidence that the decision was over the heads of the general public, and then he says the average reading age of the UK population, right, is 9 years. 9 years old, that is, they have achieved the reading ability normally expected of a 9-year-old. The Sun is written to accommodate a reading age of 8, so that they understand, the people reading the Sun understand. Oh my god, that is, if that's real, that is shocking. That really is shocking to know that. According to government figures, 28% of adults have a standard of literacy of level 1 or below, the equivalent of GCSE grades D to G, which used to be called a fail. Around 1 in 20 adults have the literacy or numeracy levels of a 5-year-old, and they could just about get through the B note, but that's about the limit. So that says it all, doesn't it, really? I mean, I don't mean to insult anyone's intelligence that's watching this, but I guess you could say that there are a lot of people out there who aren't very good at, you know, sort of literacy and reading and being able to sort of gain information and understanding and critical thinking out of, you know, reading something or taking stuff in, or being able to, like, you know, really make decisions based on the information that they're seeing, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I do think that in a way we really shouldn't have been given the decision to vote in this referendum. I know it's in the past, and I've sort of resigned to it now that it's done, it's dusted. But we're still trying to figure it all out. I know that, but yeah, it's just crazy how like the average reading age of adults in this country is 9. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, that's a shocking statistic. Wow. Yeah. It's just I really think that we should have really thought about this a lot more. Like David Cameron, instead of wanting to please his backbenchers, just have a think. Like, what are you actually asking us to do? There's just so many different layers of stuff that you need to think about. Like tiny little things that don't seem important are going to be like massively important in the future with regard to our economic situation, our political situation, like our trading, etc. It's just now turned into like a huge shitstorm of a mess, based on like our government's incompetence. So yeah, I don't think we should have been given the vote in the first place. I mean, like, I consider myself to be a fairly, smart person, but again, I even don't think that I should have been asked to vote on it. I didn't really understand fully what it was I was voting for, so I voted Remain just because I didn't want us to be in the situation that we are in now, pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to read the article, you can read it on LBC. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. Let me know what you think. Did you vote Leave or Remain? What do you think of the article? And do you think like this guy is right? So yeah, what do you reckon, guys? Let me know in the comments. And also don't forget to subscribe to my videos if you would like to.